Hey guys, and welcome to our June market report. Is the market turning? Has it slowed down? And there's some big news in Huntsville that's going to affect your real estate prices. Let's check it out. Okay guys, let's get into the July report. We're reporting on the statistics through the end of June. Everybody got their reports in. Horace put them up. I can't believe the year is already halfway over. We'll be at Christmas before you know it. June stats. The first thing I see when I look at this is homes on the market. We looked at this last month, about the same as we were in May. We'll see that on the next slide. Inventory down 49% from a year ago. Now the good news, if you own a home, price is up 14% so from a year ago. So that's a pretty good move. Now we have seen, I think, the largest annual increase in prices that we're going to see. Last year, as you know, prices were up about 20% countywide. It's not going to be that this year. It's not going to be that next year. We're going to look at some forecasts here shortly where prices are continuing to rise, but they're going to get more back in a normal trend. I think we've seen the biggest bump, which came in 20 at around 20%, and we'll be lower than that from here on out. Average days on the market about 13 days, and we're going to look shortly, that's all inventory. We're going to look at single family homes here shortly, and that's a lot faster. Comparing June this year to June last year, the biggest thing I see, I take a look at inventory homes on the market. This homes on the market is so important because that's what determines the velocity of our market. If we don't have homes to sell and we have a lot of people that want to buy homes, that's what's putting the squeeze on prices, putting the squeeze on time on the market, getting very frustrating for buyers, also frustrating for sellers. You know, we had a home last week we put on the market Tuesday afternoon. Showings were supposed to start Wednesday. We had 2 or 3 offers Tuesday night, sight unseen. So the sellers were just, kind of frustrated. They wanted people to go through the home, but they had some really good offers they had to look at. I ended up taking one of those offers before we ever showed the home. So this is not just frustrating for buyers, it is for sellers. We're just praying, that pretty soon we're going to have an increase in this inventory. But right now we're pretty flat from last month, as we'll see on these next slides when we compare. 470 homes on the market now, 460 homes on the market last month, almost twice as many, over 800 back in April. So prices keep going up, inventory keeps going down. But that's what we want to look for. As you're thinking about what am I going to look for to see if this market is going to turn around, we're going to look at inventory. It's going to be our first indicator. When the market starts to turn around, we're going to see more inventory on the market, more months of inventory available. Sales are going to slow down just a little bit. But as of yet, our market is still very, very hot in Huntsville, Alabama. It has not slowed down. Inventory is at historic lows, and we're still working with a very, very strong seller's market. Now, I want to talk just a minute about inventory on a bigger picture because we get a lot of questions about being in a bubble. Is the market in a bubble? When are prices going to crash? Is this like the 06-08 crash that we had when prices went way down and foreclosures went way up? We've talked before about the major differences between this market and the market back in 06 and 08, and they're significant and they're multiple. Here's one that I want to talk about today, inventory. Take a look at this market back in 06 and 08 when the market crashed. We had 10 to 11 months of inventory on the market, a strong, out of control buyer's market. And the market did crash. This peak in inventory in 2010 came from the foreclosures, from the market crash in 08. We're in a completely different situation today. Look at the inventory today. This is on a national level. We're going to look at some slides here in a minute where nationally we may have a couple of months of inventory on the board, but in Huntsville we're not in that situation. But we're in a seller's market. Inventory is very, very low. We've talked before about mortgages. Back in 06 and 08, all you had to do was fog a mirror and you could get a mortgage. No doc mortgages. You didn't have to prove anything. You didn't have to turn in any documents. Anybody could get a mortgage for a home. Today it's just 180. They've gone 180 degrees. Now you have to give blood and promise your firstborn child to get a mortgage. Mortgage down payments are higher than ever. More people putting 20 to 50% down. more cash purchases than we've ever had before. So these homes today, not only do we have very low inventory, but the homes that are being purchased, a lot of equity in those homes when they're being purchased. So there's not a crash on the horizon. Now, you are going to see in the national news some headlines like this one: housing supply is rising. What does that mean for you? They're trying to indicate that maybe the market is turning, maybe the market is slowing down a little bit. This is a national chart on inventory. You can see for this year, nationally, inventory has been rising. Started out the year at about 2 months inventory. In May, it was 2.5 months inventory. Here's a quote. It says, "Look like the inventory may have hit bottom." I don't disagree that our inventory may have hit bottom, but in our market in Huntsville, we are nowhere near this kind of rise in inventory. As a matter of fact, we haven't had 2 months inventory in Huntsville, Alabama since October of 19. So we're going on almost 2 years of being less than 2 months of inventory. And as of last month, we had a half a month. I had to put the zero out here because I didn't want you to think it was 5 months inventory. That's 0.5 months inventory, 1/2 months inventory. And until we see this line start to go back up, we're not going to get any relief in this seller's market. So that's the first thing we want to look at is inventory. Big news this week affecting your real estate prices. U.S. News ranked Huntsville as the number 3 place in the country to live. 78th best place to retire. We know that, we kind of wish they'd keep it a secret, but, there's no way to keep it a secret today. But this is just like fuel on the fire. In a report a couple of months ago, I reported we had 25,000 job openings posted in the Huntsville area. That's pulling people in. Well, if that's not enough, now it's one of the best places in the country to live. And this is a survey where they looked at 150 metro areas. And here are the other stats for Huntsville. Number 3 out of 150 best places to live. Number 1, cheapest place to live. We've always known that we've had an excellent cost of living here in the Tennessee Valley. I did not know that it was the cheapest place to live, and obviously the best place in Alabama. Soon to be the largest city in Alabama. Now, forecasts come out at the end of the second quarter too. This is interesting because we're trying to determine not only where's the market been, we know where we are, but we kind of want to have a clue for where it's going to go for the next 6 or 12 months. According to most of the guys that do this type of forecasting, sales are going to be steady or a little bit higher. Sales this year are going to be in the 6 million range. It's usually always in the 6 million range. It doesn't plus or minus 1 million. If you can go back for years and years and years, and it's about how many homes we sell a year. So we're looking for about the same thing for 21, 6 to 7 million, 22, 6 to 7 million. So, there's no crash coming from that forecast either. As far as pricing, we just looked prices up 14% over the last 12 months. The forecast for the entire year for 21 is about 8%. And then next year, 5%. And then back to normal. Home prices have averaged historically 2 to 3% a year price appreciation. And that's what we see going forward. So we don't see any price crash. We have buyers that just get frustrated and they want to say, I'm just going to wait till the market cools down. Well, that's fine if you're going to wait till the market cools down, but don't think you're going to wait for prices to crash. You're not going to get that in this market, in this area. We just have too many people moving in for jobs, just too many positive things happening in our market for those prices to crash. We do have now our summer buyer and seller guides are available. The link for the download is in the description below. If you have questions on the inventory or on the statistics, put them in the comments. We'll be glad to respond there. If we can help you in any way, please let us know.